ranks as of late, and we are off. As I still mourn the lack of this sword opening from Uncle, just to be rewarded with 10 small arrows. This very early map check will reveal 2 crystals in Eastern and Desert Palace and a regular pendant up in Tower of Hera. This does mean that we do have 2 pendants in the Dark World for this seed. So it's quite interesting to see a map check that early. It's unlikely that this early map check will make any impact on your route. We should get it out of the way. And we will be seeing this Cane of Samaria start. How much farming will be done? You will be quite limited in how much magic you have. Someone using quite freely here, imagine he's gonna pick up some magic here, and he will. It's just some big 20s here. Getting some rupees early is always nice. You do need 100 for the ball merchant in Kakariko, and perhaps an additional 50 for that bomb purchase if that is needed. Someone did not quite get, and neither Spooty did, the right guard RNG that they wanted, so spending 1 additional bush to pick up the kill. May not be surprised if they're gonna be using some pots in this room. Or not, but Spooty still wants to kill. Okay, that's definitely a worthwhile investment to pick up 8 bombs from that green guard. Someone utilizing some very nice cane strats here. Spooty, not so fortunate, but he will get it. That guard was really mean. This early on in Escape, in addition to looking for these bombs for the back of Escape and the early route that is very likely going to take them into Kakariko, Spooty is now up to 9 bombs. They will also really want to find something like Boots, Mirror, Hookshot, just something that speeds up this Escape, and someone is also going to get his 8 bombs here. I mean, a few rupees are pretty nice, but I want to get a little bit more than that. And down to the basement we go. It's time to rescue Zelda. This guard is not in the best of positions, but very nice usage with the cane. I don't think someone's gonna go and pick up that bomb, as he already has 8. That's our 3rd chest with 20 rupees in Escape. This may be a sign, I don't know. I simply do not know. And Spooty dodging that guard. And of course, time for the slow walk back to the castle entrance. Players have enough rupees for the bottle merchant, since you can find 30 in Blind's basement and an additional 20 in the well, so they have that 100 plus. They have more than enough bombs, unlikely that they need some more to buy. And what this means is that it's gonna put a little bit of less priority on the checking Lumberjack. Not as high priority to do 3 pulls for bombs or rupees. Not as high priority to check the crab either, for the same reasons. Spooty wanted to pick up that heart and just kills that guard for good measure, get some magic. I will say this boost sprite has definitely become significantly more popular over the course of this tournament. And I'm not complaining. Very nice dodges on the snakes. We do have the small key, so this could be an item. you would prefer to get a big heart, but chances are you will get at least 4 pieces anyway over the course of the run. So far, nothing of progression. This king doesn't do anything in terms of progression this early on. And bombs are always considered to be in logic. So this back of escape then, with so many bombs, Spooty even getting another bomb here. Well, there's the map. Half magic is pretty nice, but it's not progression. Of course, picking up their first heart container, always nice to get some of these early on. With the map acquired, there will be an item in the sanctuary chest. And some really good times here for this escape. I would have preferred a 20 rupee over that one. And with the escape finished, we see what's on the lumberjack ledge. It looks like we will. Someone is taking the route up there. I feel like every single enemy in this seed drops bombs. This will be the second time I'm experiencing a seed like that. Oh, the crabbiest had hearts. And both players will be making this check, so no information advantage this early on. That looked like 5 rupees to me. Into the forest we go. Oh look, more bombs! These are just bombs in their natural habitat, in the forest, of course. Someone is skipping that 20. Now, why would you skip that 20 this early on? You're not putting Sora on a high priority? I can't really think of any other reason. You're just really hoping to get a 300, maybe. Pretty certain Spooty is the only one thus far who has checked the map. Someone has to do that at some point. But considering they haven't got anything that's gonna help them progress through dungeons, it's not really a priority to do right now. Unlikely that anything is going to make an impact on that regard. Well, there's our sword, so that's a... Okay, so Aga won. When? I mean, this seed just didn't really give the players what I think they wanted to. But now we're just lamp from Aga 1. Oh, a shield! That's more often than not skipped, but if you can get it for free, it's fine. So it's pretty interesting. Did you get a half magic early on with the King of Samaria and the cape? Now they got the sword as a more reliable tool of weapon. And the sink is truly real at this point. This well, there has been some moments where the Hype Cave has migrated over to this well. Thus far, it does not seem that it's giving the necessary rewards. And it does not. I mean, in terms of item locations where you can get the flute, that has to be the most bizarre one. Literally right next to it. And that's our first bit of actual progression in this seed, as it will unlock the item that is inside of Spectacle Rock. For this early on, that's the wrong colored boomerang. It's always interesting that some players want to find the boomerang and some players don't. And then there's the preference if you prefer the blue or the red. Most players seem to prefer the blue because the red one has some additional lag to it. Oh, I was waiting to find an item capacity upgrade. It's been too long. So apart from Flute and 2/3 of Aga 1, Kakariko didn't actually give all that much. 20 rupees in the library. And here is someone's map check. Oh, yep, Spooty, you have to dodge that. You want those gloves. Okay, so early gloves. I mean, now you can sequence break up to Death Mountain in case you missed the flute. These gloves do very little right now, but obviously the myths are always required to beat any seed, so they will have to pick up those. And off to the dam. There's a little bit of interesting choice here to check the first chest. Here for Spooty and then drain the swamp. I believe opening the chest first is faster if you get certain specific items. The Master Sword is not one of those items, but the Master Sword is still really nice to get. There's a lot of things right now that are pointing towards Aga 1, but without that lamp, it is extremely unlikely we will see that play. Even less without the Moon Pearl acquired. I'm not saying that Dark Aga 1 is something that they're not going to do. We have seen Dark Aga 1 done in this tournament. I'm pretty certain no one would want to do that. Of course, having the Master Sword means you can one-shot these mini Moldworms. They are lost. How did that Moldworm survive that bomb? Hitboxes are interesting. Also, there's the Moon Pearl. Some more rupees and an upgrade. We are Hammer or Lamp from Dark World access. But access via Aga 1 does mean that you do not have Western access. Sora is in logic thanks to the gloves, but the rupee count is extremely low. They can still fake flipper and sequence break the waterfall at this point. And Sick Kid has arrived in logic. It's definitely a good point that the Titan Smiths will also open up the Dark World. But it would not open up East Dark World. Because you do need the flippers or the hammer to get to the east side if you don't... Well, if you don't have the hammer, you need the hammer. That makes a lot of sense. Never mind. I feel like this keeps on happening to me when I'm doing commentary. I swear, this just keeps on happening. So, Hammer, we have Dark World access. And here's a bit of a change. That Spooty, he's gonna go straight into the Dark World. Someone is gonna do the more standard route you do if you don't find all that much progression. And he's gonna go in and check out what Sahasrara has in store for us. So if we don't find another bottle, as we do see the pennant in Swamp and 5-6 being in Skull Woods and Mire, and I think the green pennant there was inside of Thieves Town. If there is no other early bottle, that means Ice Arcade was required this seed. And someone is continuing to make these overworld trips in the light world before heading into the dark world. Did get the blue mail at Sahasrara. It's a nice find, especially if you're only at 5 hearts. The map is not a nice find. You want something else. Do have the early cape here for a bumper cave check following this Skull Woods check. You could, of course, always find the fire rod, but this is going to be a small key in here. And the old man shares some love, and 4th piece of heart for someone. Map and compass already in Skull Woods. That's not a good sign. Spooty did get the big key, but he's gonna check this middle chest first. Piece of heart on top of Spectacle Rock. It looked like 300 rupees inside. That's a really nice find, but are you willing to spend that time? Someone is saying, nope, I'm not gonna spend that time. Spooty is gonna use the cape here for this statue. Oh look, 300 rupees in another area that's not really somewhere we can go right now. Also, that's just 50 rupees. That's a disappointment. And Spooty's gonna take a Death Warp. Spooty was only sitting on 2 hearts and it's now up to 4. That's a vanilla piece of heart for Aegina's Cave. Okay, that's another enemy there that drops bombs. Is someone keeping track of how many enemies thus far that have dropped bombs? I think it's like 4 or 5 right now. Small key in the big chest. So what was in the middle chest? I forgot that. Was there an item there or not? Must have been an item there, right? There's at least one item in the back that is fire rod locked. Regardless, Spooty is down with Skull Woods for now. And someone is gonna do what I like to call the reverse tour, where you start with Hype Cave and make your way up towards Village of Outcasts. Ether Medallion, that could be required. That big heart from Hype Cave is not required. Oh, someone doesn't have any bombs! Oh, but he can just go up here and buy bombs. On the other hand, rupees are low. Very low. I feel like those 20 bombs are gonna serve him for the rest of this run. Okay, so Hype Cave, take 2. Can someone remind me what was in that first chest? Okay, it was garbage. So, Hype Cave being Hype Cave. Yep. Good to know that Hype Cave still works its intended way in this logic. Not so sure it was worthwhile spending 100 bombs for that content, but you still have to get the items at some point anyway. And there is so many 20 rupees in the seed. I know that it's the most common item in Randomizer, but at least give him 100. It's been a lot of pieces of hearts. And someone does not have the money for the shovel game. Oh dear. Oh look, another piece of heart. Well, it's a full refill for Spooty, so that's nice. Spooty's gonna do the chess game and likely made a trip into Thieves Town following this. Okay, a big heart is better than a small heart. So far, it's been some time now since they last got a useful item. It was, of course, the hammer. Oh dear, Big Keen first chest of Thieves Town. It's the dream go mode Thieves Town. I have to be fair, I've never seen Thieves Town be go moded. There, 300 rupees. Was that so hard, Seed? Was that so hard? Now they can check Sora. And Thieves Town is, of course, just the green pendant here. But because of how close it is, it's still a check that you do, but some players will opt to leave after these first 4 chests. If you're in someone's position though where you've checked more item locations, you may be more inclined to keep on going. And the Spooty looks like he's going. This could still be a Death Warp. We will see in... Okay, so no Death Warp, so he's gonna keep on going. They are running low on item locations at this point. Palace of Darkness is open, but could be bow locked. They will need to fill that bottle with something if they want to skip needing the bow for east side. They will still have to come back at some point though to get the bow, so that would, in that situation, be a double dip to pod. Eastern, of course, you do have a few items. Pyramid, Catfish, Sora? They are low on item location. And for Spooty here, since he's not been at Sahas for a lot, this will give him an additional item to pick up there. Spike Cave, yes, Spike Cave. Sick Kid was the hammer. So Sick Kid from the bottle in Ice Lord Cave to get the hammer to get access to the Dark World. But Ice Lord Cave is a good one. I don't know precisely how the logic for Spike Cave works, but considering that they do have half magic cape, as well as access to bottles, they will have enough hearts to get through Spike Cave. Spike Cave's location, though, always makes it a bit awkward. In this situation, you're going up Death Mountain for the inside of Spectacle Rock. Someone has already done that, and also Sequence broke. The old man found nothing. He's also gonna see Ether here. Thieves Town is not giving anything of value. For Spooty following this Thieves Town, it's pretty clear that he's just going to continue to go south. Someone did not do the shovel game, so it could still be there. The item that they're looking for to make some progress in the seed. Spooty's going to be able to do that. Hold Stumpy, High Cave, check the pyramid, and then after that, Catfish or Pod. I could be making a comment here about this blind fight, and just as I do that, it's actually getting a little bit hairy, but Half Magic Cape solves that problem. And that's going to give the green pendant and the compass for SpootyBiscuit, so nothing inside of Thieves Town, but that green pendant could be important. Someone is very likely going to be making the same visit into Thieves Town. In the moment of truth here for Spooty with this digging game, someone will have enough money to check this after, because there is 300 rupees inside of Thieves Town. Oh, the life of a digger. Okay. So that's a fire source. Eastern pod. There's some dark rooms potentially to visit. The old man up on Death Mountain is now in logic, but we do know that was nothing. You can do Aga 1. They're not gonna do Aga 1. In terms of items that could have been there, though, that's still pretty good for someone, because it wasn't anything significant like boots, hookshot, mirror, bow. But obviously someone is going to go and check that soon enough and be able to get his fire source. If that was the fire rod, you could go back into Skull Woods, but it's the wrong fire source. It's time for Spooty to be greeted the way that you're greeted in Hype Cave. Someone putting the cape to use here to get through the hellway. Okay then, Spooty, are you gonna go straight into Pod, or will you visit the pyramid first? Imagine it's gonna be the pyramid. It's quite difficult to route that in. Same is also true for Catfish. If you go up and do Catfish, where do you go after that? It's definitely some tough choices here for Spooty if Pyramid doesn't give him anything. Well, that was just arrows or an arrow capacity upgrade. That's not what he was looking for, so... Catfish or Pod, where are you going, Spooty? You're going Catfish. I imagine after this, save and quit, go to Sahasrarla, check the 3 items in the back, and get the green pendant. That or flute up to Death Mountain. Could still flute to the Pod Dark World entrance and go into Pod from there. In that case, why not go Pod here instead of going Catfish? Spooty has decided that this is the play he wants to make. Someone is continuing to navigate through Thieves Town. We do know that there is nothing there except the green pennant, which could have something of value. Catfish will have the powder, and they do have the hammer. So that puts Backcave in logic. Now, Spooty, where will you go now? You have a new option. Spooty is following the logic right now, as someone is fighting blind. Real smooth fight for someone. He's gonna get this green pendant. There's a long trip up to Catfish for this powder. Still a very nice safety item to have. But was Catfish required the seed? This could be big because Catfish is not a commonly visited location. Oh my goodness, the Titansmiths! And that changes a lot of things for our players. Well, now you can enter Mire suddenly. If Ether is required, of course you will still need the hookshot or the boots to actually do anything inside of Mire. Straight to Mire Shed it seems to be. Spooty is just following the logic right now. So Catfish required the seed for those myths. That looked like Ether to me. But they will need hookshot or boots to make any progress. You cannot get past the first room without it. Get some rupees in the shed, so done here for now. Still no real progress up on Death Mountain unless that Spy Cave has something. Still waiting to see what the green pendant holds. Can fake Flipper into ice, but nothing that can kill those free swords or whatever they're called. Spooty's now gonna make the decision to up to Death Mountain. And Sora is still available as well. It's definitely relevant. In terms of the rupee for Sora logic, just answer this. It's irrelevant. There's been situations where players had to farm up like 300 rupees in order to check Sora to get their progression item. The sea just doesn't care about rupees when it comes to Sora. Someone is going up to the pyramid. Will he go Catfish or Pod after this? And Spooty has to be very careful here with these cabbages and bedrocks, only down to a single heart. And someone still needs some rupees here in order to actually make a Sora check. ₹300. Spooty is leaving. Will you flute or Spy Cave? You only have one heart. Well, this is a Spy Cave check, and someone is gonna do Pod instead of Catfish. Depending on how deep you can go here, though, still find some nice items in here. Lumberjack was 5 rupees. This is not a bad play. There's more items in Pod than there is at Catfish. This is not a bad decision from someone to do this. We just know that there is something at Catfish. He could still go there later. Spy Cave with the Fire Rod! Catfish and Spy Cave required? And Ice Rod Cave likely as well if that was the only early bottle to get the hammer? Well, now you can make that Ice Palace dip if you want to. Can finish off Skullwoods. There is still at least one item inside of Skullwoods. Oh dear. So, items just being very bizarre areas here. Just one-off areas that are not commonly checked. Catfish and Spike Cave both having items required to beat the seed. I feel like it's gonna take a long time before we see what that green pennant is. I don't remember the contents of the second bottle that someone picked up. The first one was empty though. But considering this decision from someone, he knows the bottle glitch and he has something that he wants to use here. Okay, so red potion. And it's the bottle glitch in action. You scroll the enemies away, which makes the game think they're dead when they're not, and allows you to go through. This is a minor glitch and is allowed to be used in the tournaments. Now we do know, however, that none of these lock locations here can have the bow. Major glitch, minor application. I know you can use that glitch to go out of bounds, but out of bounds is not allowed in this tournament. Oh, no boots, no mirror. Navigating Palace of Darkness is not fun. I will say I don't know all my NMG terms, so I think I should just stop talking about it. Spooty's opting to use the half-matic fire rod here on Mofila, who is being pretty nice to him, actually. Oh, the flippers are in pod! Well, that's a big pick. A significant find, and the book! The book from Mofila! What is going on in this seed? This seed just went real crazy. Where does Spooty go from here? He doesn't have the mirror to check any tablets, nor the hookshot if you want to check the ether by going all the way around. He can enter desert, and if that's not boots locked, he can clear that dungeon. Now, if someone can find a mirror here, may lead him to do a catfish into Sora play. Spooty, he's going into desert. He's just following the logic. He's following exactly what the seed is given to him. And someone, of course, can still pick up some nice rupees here if he wants to make a Sora check later on. But it doesn't look like he's putting any priority on the money. Someone just has not prioritized rupees at all this seed. Even skipping those 20 early on has shown that. There's a small key. Still waiting to see if we will need boots. There's a shield inside of Palace of Darkness. Well, there's the big key, so you don't need boots for Desert Palace. That is confirmed. Just a map. That's the last possible locations to find the big key, and it's right there. Will this be an item here, though? Not really. I don't really count that boomerang as an item. 10 arrows on the torch. I mean, you're quite happy to see that there. I mean, you would have preferred to see like a map or a compass and then be able to find a progression item in here. Someone did pick up the flippers. Well, there's the compass. And we are finally going to see what this green pendant will give us. Was Thieves Town required? That is the question we're waiting to be answered right now. Thieves Town was not required this seed. Unless this is a pedestal seed, Thieves Town was not required. That's not something you say every day. Someone is gonna do some swimming here. Still deciding to skip out on those rupees in the back of pod. Be able to check Sora unless he manages to find 132 rupees. Meanwhile, Spooty's just walking through Desert Palace. He's making progression here after that catfish check, which just opened up everything for him. Got the fire rod, got the book, got the mitts. Someone finds bombs. What are you doing with those bombs underneath the bridge anyway? I'm not sure that is safe. The flippers in pod were in the vanilla big key chest. So depending on key layout, it could be in logic. Also 10 arrows, so nothing in desert, but it is the second crystal for Spooty at 41 minutes. Someone using his flippers to find nothing. Spooty's gonna check a Gina and get a piece of heart from that. $20 rupees on the ledge, so we're still waiting for what Sora can give us. And someone is running out of item locations to check. He needs to go over to Catfish. That may be the path he's taking right now. Spooty, are you gonna sequence spray ice or just Sora? Okay, that makes sense. Leaving Hobo for now. We do know flippers are essentially in logic because of their location inside of Palace of Darkness. And someone making the trip over to Catfish, this is the right call for him. This is the visit he has to make at this point. But even then, he also needs to make the trip to Spike Cave. Oh, someone has to be careful here, down to 1.5 hearts. And considering this seed, Ice Rod Cave, likely required. I think, unless there's a bottle in early Eastern, Ice Rod Cave was required this seed. Catfish required. Spike Cave required. Will Sora also be required? Nope. Of course not. I do feel like 20 rupees is vanilla from Sora. This powder, however, for someone is going to give him something really nice that he's going to appreciate. Hello, Spooty. Where are you going now? Someone is going to make a visit to the bat. That's going to give him the mitts. So Spooty is going to do the Smith here. Smith, Peg, likely chest if he doesn't find anything here. No mirror means that this is... Okay, skipping pegs. There's the mist for someone. Someone is flying back over to 5. I think this is an Eastern visit for him. If Spooty doesn't find anything here, imagine he's gonna go back for the chest and do the peg cave with that. That makes a lot of sense. Not so sure it's a good idea to try and smith those bombs. And someone is leaving. He just remembered the Meyer area exists. That's a good call. It's not gonna give him anything here. Actually, it could still be something in Eastern. We still haven't checked Eastern. That's pretty interesting. Still missing that bow though. Have the lamp. There's an additional item location. And Bumper Cave was the Ether Medallion. We do know that that is required because Meyer requires Ether. But they don't have the hookshot or the boots, so they can't get into Meyer in the first place. And Cape was in Blind's basement. Second chest. First chest was a sword. And no, this was not an Aga 1 seed. Hammer time for Spooty. Someone's got the flute out. Okay, that's an item that opens up a lot of item locations. East Death Mountain, Dark Death Mountain, it's all open for Spooty. As a massive pickup for him. Meyer's beatable, but there's just so much you can do up on Death Mountain right now. There's a ton of item locations you can check up there now. And figure out which medallion you need for Turtle Rock. It's a great source of information. Meanwhile, someone is making the trip into Eastern. Could still be something in here that we're missing, and that could be important. That air capacity upgrade for Spooty, not so important. Ether Tablet is also now in Logic. But Spooty, see Crystal Dungeon, complete Crystal Dungeon, put Pyramid Fairy in Logic. So this is technically 4 items in this mire. It's the first item in Eastern is being a piece of heart. So we're looking for bow, ice rod, potential medallion. Mirror is not required, but you know, if swamp's necessary, you know. Silver is always very nice. Where are silvers in the seed? There's a lot of potential items. The boots were not required for Desert Palace, fully completable. It's 10 arrows, I think, or something like that on Torch. That's a second item. In Easterns, it's a 50-50 here for someone. This is a lamp-locked item. Oh, Spooty, that's a button. Push button. Yeah. Bad chest. Very bad chest. Skullwoods has been fully cleared. Mothula had the book. And the fire rod was in Spike Cave. And there's an item on Armos. These checks are not working out for someone. They get the flippers, but didn't get anything from it. Flippers are required by logic to get into ice, so still need it, but if you don't need swamp, you can always just sequence break into ice. We have seen seas where players have been flippers from go mode and just needed ice, so sequence break into ice and disregard the flippers entirely. It's the first item in Myers is the bone capacity upgrade. Someone is gonna make this check the spike cave now. Will give the fire rod, which will give the book. Maybe that will also lead him towards doing the smiths in the village of Outcast, since it is close to Skullwoods. Spooty's gonna wait for like 15 to 20 seconds here. The fire rod has been picked up by someone. What's in the vanilla big key chest today? The second item in Meyer, just 20 rupees. The Pyramid Fairy will be better. Well, someone's got the fire rod and he is heading over to Mophula. He could still do pegs, but I do feel like this is Mophula. Makes more sense. Compass. Spoot is still looking for the big key. It's a long way here to walk for someone. Can still do a pedestal check with the book. No mirror makes that. Not very likely to happen for either of our players for a very long time. Spooty finds the big key. It is indeed true, Moff did have the book. Depending on the mirror location, that book could be required. The hookshot was in the hammer peg cave, which obviously was locked behind the mitts from Bat Cave. That's pretty interesting because those item locations are very close to one another, but because you don't have the mirror, they are very far apart. Spooty has to be careful here, it's not too hard. Someone's just gonna wait out the hand before taking the fall. Doesn't have as much magic as Spooty did. Still open to use some fire rods, shots. Brings out the hammer. And Moff is not being that kind. It's like the spikes are being extremely annoying. And will take Moffula down without having to use the red potion. Also, Spooty still has not been a Sahasrara, I do want to point that out. Still has not delivered in the Screen Pennant, which was nothing. Thieves Town, no value from Thieves Town today. Spooty's gonna use the powder to pick up the fairy, and he's gonna use cape straps. No bow and only master sword. This is not an easy fight, but the half magic cape will trivialize it quite a bit. Someone, where will you fly? Is this the Ice Palace we've been waiting for? I don't know if it's what someone has been waiting for, but that's the play he's doing as Spooty's playing a little game here with his giant eye. I say Spooty's winning this game. There are 3 items inside of Ice Palace, but you're making an Ice Palace play without the hook shot. That's risky. So Pyramid Fairy now in logic for Spooty as he picks up his 3rd crystal. 2 crystal lead over someone. That was really close to getting all those Pengators there. And key in the first chest. Ice is very weird when it comes to routing depending on what's in that first chest. And that's the key, and that's going to change some things. It's going to be interesting to see how he routes this. So Spooty, where you going? You going Pyramid Fairy? I think you be going Pyramid Fairy. It does make it so hookshot isn't required. I cannot confirm or deny that because I do not understand how Ice Palace logic works. What I do know is that this bomb jump works, and it often works on the first try. See? Oop! Still a lot of items that can be behind this Pyramid Fairy and that can also be inside of Ice Palace. Bow, Ice Rod. Not sure they want to find the mirror. I just feel like Spooty is always on low health. After this, it's very likely he's just gonna save and quit unless he finds the mirror in here. A piece of art is not the mirror, and 3 bombs are not the mirror either. So no item of importance in Mystery Mire. And East Death Mountain is the place to go right now. East Death Mountain, Dark Death Mountain, Tower of Hera, despite being a pendant. Big key in its vanilla location in Ice Palace. Oh, look, a map. So excited for maps. Starting off here with Paradox K. To be fair, you have the flute, so it's not that much of a hassle to check the witch for that mushroom. So far the fetch quests have been quite nice, honestly. There's the other mail upgrade, very good finder for Spooty. And there's another fairy and another bottle with a fairy inside of it. It's part in ice, but still a full refill, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Sadly, Spooty fails the bomb jump and decides he's not going to try it again and just do it the intended way. Someone's going to try to make this bomb jump back over to the other side and will make it so. Bombs on the island. It's looking more and more like the mirror will not be required this seat. Also, speaking of bombs. Tower of Hera is a pretty quick check for 2 items, assuming the basement is not required. Also, the ether tablet is over here. Since you don't have the mirror, you can't just go back and forth, so you have to make all the checks in the light world first before you head into the dark world. And it's a big bomb capacity upgrade that is not going to be used at all. No value from that tablet. And it is gonna be Hera. Meanwhile, someone needs to get his first spin right. Does get it right. Still takes a hit there from the ice cream. Gets a little bit out of position and can't quite maintain cold stare inside of the corner. Just still have a red potion backup, taking a lot of damage. Will have to bring out the fire rod here. He's taking down one and just allows the rest of them down with the help of the fire rod to pick up the compass. You do have to do Ice Palace at some point. You always do prefer to do so in Go mode. Well, someone, what's your next destination? You need to find the hook shot. First, it's gonna make the desert play. We do know that there is no item of importance in desert, but once again, this is a crystal dungeon. You have to go and beat it at some point. And it is not boots locked. And the flippers were in Palace of Darkness. Big key chest. And here we have him, ladies and gentlemen. The one, the only Moldorm, whose eyes suddenly got stuck on the edge of the screen for some weird reason. You see, Moldorm works in Moldorm ways. And Moldorm sometimes dies. Rest in peace, old friend. We'll take the piece of heart and the pendant and then leave the tower. I mean, if you're interested in the pedestal, it can still be bow, ice rod, or potential medallion for Turtle Rock. And the pedestal has not been checked by either of our players, since the book was so late and they don't have the mirror to check it in the first place. Now they will need the mirroring actually to get the item on the pedestal in the first place, because they need it to enter Swamp. We have passed the hour mark, and it's still a lot of items we're looking for here, and just 3 crystals for Spooty. Someone only having 2. It's a big visit to the Thieves' Town for the green pendant did not pay off. No item in there, and the green pendant was a bust. Yeah, the peg cave actually had something, I know. I'm also shocked it had the hook shot. As I say that, I missed what was in the spiral cave. Oh, that's fantastic. You know, when you miss that one item, it is an extremely important item. The bow pickup for Spooty. He's leaving. He's gonna deliver the mushroom, and he's gonna do Pod Eastern. So we'll give him the flippers, which doesn't actually do anything for him. Maybe something else. Armos does have an item. I don't remember if Helmstor has an item or not. He's gonna take this time to buy a potion. Does have a fairy in the outer bottle. But still, Spooty deciding to leave Super Bunny Cave 2 items. Leaving Hookshot Cave 4 items. And also leaving, not checking Turtle Rock, which medallion is required. While the flippers does put Ice Palace in logic, you can always fake flipper into ice. So, because Swamp is not required, at this level of play, flippers are not really required. Spooty's gonna start off here by checking Eastern Palace. We do know that there was nothing here in the first few chests. But Armos does have an item. Another thing is that Spooty will be in a 50-50 situation after opening the big chest for where the third item is. Will he gamble it? Will the decision be as rapid as how quickly someone killed Lanmolas? And as flawlessly as he performed in that Desert Palace? We will soon see. And once again, someone, now with your third crystal. I do want to state that when I'm talking about the items necessary for Go mode, I do exclude the necessity to visit pendant dungeons. While there is definitely a possibility that an item is inside of swamps, since neither of our players have been able to locate the mirror yet, that is still outside of the equation. And we have seen players in this kind of pendant crystal layout decide to just forgo the flippers entirely, just fake flipper into ice when you're in Go mode, as to speak. The flippers are kind of like the lamp in that regard if you know that you're good enough to be able to do the dark routes. Now the play someone has to do here is check the peg cave to get the hook shot. And not be ripped off by 480 rupees. Also, Spooty is gonna decide to do the full clear of Eastern. Someone did this as well. There is no item over here in the vanilla B key location. Apparently, cabbages are stronger than ducks. The things you are taught by a Link to the Past randomizer. Gonna talk about why you would do Eastern before Pod. The simple reason would likely be that you really want to be able to route Palace of Darkness with the mirror, because it makes it more convenient. On the other hand, if you find the mirror in Palace of Darkness, then you just mirror over into Eastern. So in that sense, it may just be personal preference. Also, Eastern is an easier dungeon. And Eastern has been available for a very long time, so if your opponent has made an early play into Eastern, they may have had an item for possibly 30-40 minutes that you've not been able to have. And that's like the boots. That would be pretty big, but we do know that there was nothing here. Armos will have the final item as someone is going to get his hook shot. We'll lead him to the path to get the bow. Now, the thing is that in this situation, we're still looking at Master Sword Silverless Ganon. That's not something that anyone wants to do unless they're forced to. So being able to find silvers or a sword upgrade is still going to be very important here. Okay, yeah, that's the way it works sometimes when I do commentary. You're welcome, Spooty. It's not silvers, but it's still really good to find that tempered sword. And crystal number 4 for Spooty with that. At this point, we are looking for the Ice Rod and potential medallion for Turtle Rock. We still don't know which medallion we need for that. Spooty's gonna find his third bottle back here. And his red mail. And now Spooty's gonna make the pod play. Someone will get his bow from this long play. But will he do Tower of Hera? Will he just do Spiral Cave and jump straight into the Dark Hole after that? Or will he leave after finding the bow in Spiral Cave? Of course, the mushroom was nothing. Third bottle and the other mail upgrade for someone. Interestingly enough, both this mini Moldorm Cave and Sahasrara had a bottle and a mail upgrade. This truly is the Paradox Cave. There is something here on Dark Death Mountain that would be very valuable to someone since Spooty decided to skip out on that in favor of doing these crystal dungeons. That just seems to be the way he's routed. There's a crystal dungeon I can full clear. I'm gonna go and full clear that crystal dungeon. Can't really argue with that logic. Someone is gonna make the trip over to Ether Tablet and Hera. Will he go into Hera? Will he just check the Ether Tablet? I do feel like he's gonna go into Hera. Spooty is gonna find these flippers, which will put Ice Palace in logic. We'll still need the mirror for Swamp if, I mean, a lot of people seem to be really wanting Swamp to have something in this seed. And you imagine Spooty, after finishing this, will make the trip into Ice, find nothing there, and then most likely go back to Dark Death Mountain. I did miss that piece of heart down there in the basement earlier. Still no mirror for Spooty. Makes Palace of Darkness routing not as optimal as you would want to, but obviously not having to bother with the glitch means that you know that everything you're doing is in logic. Still don't know if these pendant dungeons are actually worthwhile. There was nothing in Tower of Hera. There was nothing in Thieves Town. Still can't enter Swamp. And that's the only real redeeming factor here, because there is nothing in Swamp. That means that there will be nothing from the pedestal either, since nothing in Swamp will be giving anything, and all three pendants combined would not give a pedestal item, or a pedestal item of value. Which would mean that this is actually a no pendant seed. And that's not common in this version of the logic. And especially when you look at the time, this is not a fast seed, but they've still gone in and full cleared 2 pendant dungeons and gotten nothing out of it because of the pendant layouts. These just very fast dungeons, and you would prefer them to have bosses that behave the way you want them to, so you can beat them quickly and get the crystal, but in this situation, you get nothing, unless there is something on the pedestal. Okay, someone, can you handle Moldorm? Rest in peace, good friend, rest in peace. Spooty is setting up a death warp here, taking intentional damage from the flames. And the number 2 picked up for someone. Final one in Swamp. There is always that risk with dipping Turtle Rock when... Yeah, okay. Ooh, that fairy, you don't want that fairy. You don't want that fairy, Spooty. It's good on him to remember that he had that fairy and needed to let it out. If you're making the trip into Turtle Rock and then you don't find the mirror and there's something in Mimic Cave, you do have that problem. Also, just making the dip without Ice Rod in the first place is always a risk. There's been a lot of seeds where the Ice Rod has been inside of Turtle Rock though. Someone will get his bow, but how will he route this after? Spooty just left, remember? We still don't know what's on Dark Death Mountain. So the bow has been picked up. We will see Dark Death Mountain from someone. This could be a crucial decision on his part. But you imagine, I have not kept track of the number of items in Palace of Darkness, but if there is nothing from Helmosaur, Spooty's gonna do Ice Palace, find nothing, and then do this play that someone is doing right now. And remember, someone has already been in Eastern, you can use Rush Armos. Well, there's our final bottle. So all 4 bottles have been found. 2 empty, 1 red, and 1 fairy. Ice Roar Cave, Sahasrara, East Death Mountain, Dark Death Mountain. I missed which medallion was required. I imagine I'm gonna get an update in just a few seconds. Was it truly Ether? It was Ether. So, Ice Rod to go mode. Unless you need the boots for the torch. Okay, that's the wrong medallion. Unless you need the Ice Rod. Or, not the Ice Rod. Unless you need the boots for the torch in Turtle Rock. Also, Helmosaur King is dead. He just kind of died. Crystal number 5 for Spooty. And someone is heading into Mire. Now this Ice Rod can be anywhere. Literally anywhere. Except on Trinex. And inside of Ganon's Tower, obviously. Spooty making this trip over to the lake. We'll go into ice. So Cape was required the seed for the bumper cave. Someone's gonna get some company inside of Mire, but when that company is brought into Mire, the company just vanishes. Spooty really does not want to go into ice, and he's gonna check some other item locations. This makes a lot of sense. A lot of players really do prefer to go mode ice. He does not know that he doesn't need a medallion, but we know that the only item they're missing is the Ice Rod. So let's go through the options. Where could it be if we consider the items they have right now? Turtle Rock, obviously. It has to be Turtle Rock, right? I think they've checked everything else. I mean, we could get them. We could get Mirror in Turtle Rock and yada 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 swamp, yada 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 pedestal, or yada 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 boots on pedestal, yada yada yada. You get the drill. I think it is just Turtle Rock that needs to have an item of value. It could be the Ice Rod, it could be boots, mirror, shovel. Also, someone is in this room that exists for some reason. Spooty's gonna have an advantage in routing ice with the access to that hook shot. He may still have to do bomb jumps, and someone did those bomb jumps flawlessly. He did 3 bomb jumps, I believe. First tried every single one. The Pyramid Fairy had nothing, so I do think that at this point, Turtle Rock is the only location remaining that can have an item. We've checked Mire, we've checked Ice Palace. Pretty certain every single overworld location has been checked. All the awkward caves. Sora, Catfish had progression. Smith and Chest have been checked. Pyramid Fairy. Sahaswala, Green Pendant. Bumper Cave had Ether. Yeah, it must be in Turtle Rock. And Spooty will be the first player to make a visit to Turtle Rock, since he's gonna very likely go there after finishing off Ice. He may still have some overworld location left for himself to check. Outside of Dark Death Mountain. But I can't think of any right now. The players have been very thorough, especially Spooty has been extremely thorough in this seed. But Turtle Rock must have boots, mirror, shovel, or ice rod. One of those 4 items. Bookshop Cave did in fact have bombos. Still don't know where Quake is, but it's not required. Someone finds the big chest. 3.5 hearts, quite risky. We are also looking for the silvers, but at this point you imagine that silvers are inside of Ganon's tower. Now getting the mirror would open up Mimic Cave, Cave 45, Bombo's Tablet, Graveyard Ledge, and the entirety of Swamp. And Checkerboard Cave. So mirror is not an item our players want to see. I'm pretty certain when you see Swamp being a pendant, you just don't want to see mirror at all. And so far they've been blessed with no mirror. On the other hand, they've also been cursed with no boots. This has still been a seed where a lot of required items have been in some pretty awkward locations. Spike Cave, Catfish. They did get the bottle from Ice Rod Cave to get the hammer from Sick Kid, but they could also have gotten the bottle from Sahasrara instead. So, depending on how you look at it, Ice Rod Cave was or was not required. Hookshot in Pet Cave. Book from Mothula. It's been a wild ride. Someone is just going to use regular spins here, no cape, which Spooty used, and just look at how Spooty managed to get Cold Spear into that corner. Also having a stronger sword than someone allows him to do this fight significantly faster. However, someone having the bow manages to get down Vitreous much faster. Did not have to play tennis with the eye. And someone will now almost certainly be making a trip into Eastern Pod, both dungeons that he's already visited in the past. Spooty, Mountain Cave, Old Man, East. There is something inside of Turtle Rock, but will we require a double dip into Turtle Rock this seed? Will the Ice Rod just conveniently be there? We still don't know what's on the pedestal, but unless that is the Ice Rod on the pedestal or Boots shenanigans or glove shenanigans, it's not going to be required. And since, remember, the book was at Mothula, but they didn't have the mirror. That's so awkward. Well, Spooty, all he has to do is solve this little hammer puzzle. Flawless performance. And someone is going to do Pyramid Fairy first. Likely do Pyramid Fairy into Palace of Darkness. Someone making his second visit into the bomb shop. Spooty has 6 items to check here before he's gonna make the trip into Turtle Rock. I do think he has checked every single other location. He will get his final bottle. He will get his bombos. That's a repeat of our Pyramid Fairy. To be honest, at this moment, we are all waiting to see what Turtle Rock has in store for us. The anticipation, what's inside of the rock. And Spooty has checked the item locations, and now he will be making that visit. And this is quite the lead that Spooty has at this point. The way he's routed, being able to avoid the double dips into Eastern and Palace of Darkness have given him a big time lead. Which item? Which item will be inside of Turtle Rock to grant progression? It can be 4 different items. It can be boots, it can be mirror, it can be shovel, it can be ice rod. Which one will it be? That's a pretty good location for the big key, at least. And all someone has to do here is just rush down the bosses. Two and 3. Well, there's the small key. And the boots! Oh no, we're going there! Oh dear. Well, that puts Vonk Rocks and King's Tomb in logic. Oh dear. Well, Spooty's gonna keep on going. At 2 more item locations. It does remove potential shenanigans with the Torch in Ganon's Tower. I'm pretty confident you're not sad to see those, but you're getting a little bit worried at this point. Well, that's the boots. Still 3 items left. Ice Rod, Shovel, Mirror. Someone will soon be entering Helnosaur King's room. We'll need 17 hits with the hammer for the first phase. Of course, you will need to check every single chest here inside of Turtle Rock. You can't skip anything because you're still looking for an item. Helnosaur King will soon fall, and with that, a sword upgrade. And crystal number 5 for someone. No, wait, the sword upgrade was on Armos. Yeah, then the sword upgrade wasn't. Yes, the sword upgrade was on Armos. My bad. And no Mimic Cave. I'll put the flute again for someone. Still has Eastern to do. Oh! Oh no! Oh dear! Oh dear! Oh dear! Oh dear! Oh dear! Well, I guess we're checking Mimic Cave after all. Okay, so now Swamp is open. Pedestal is open. Cave 45, Checkerboard Cave. No! Never mind! Never mind! Okay, mirror required to get the ice rod in the best possible location. So, Spooty's in go mode. Okay, that was a perfect way to end this seed. Perfect. Incredible. So mirror in Big Chest Turtle Rock for Ice Rod in Mimic Cave. Well, we finally got that Ice Rod in Mimic Cave seed. No swamp, sorry. Well, Spooty's got a massive lead at this point. You don't have the double dip. Wait, does that count as double dipping Turtle Rock? You do have to go back and then go back in again. Is that like 1.5 dip into Turtle Rock? How does that work? I'm not sure how that works. Yeah. I'm confused now. I've never witnessed that before. Spooty still needs to find the key here on Laser Bridge. He has to be careful. 2.5 hearts. And now we're just repeating the early game with a lot of chests with 20 rupees. There's the key. Will Spooty go safe? Nope, no safety for Spooty. He's going straight for Trinex. And someone is gonna take down Armos, get the sword upgrade. And now heading towards Turtle Rock. Now do note, Silvers can still be on Swamp. But you know, at this point, you're committed to this tempered Ganon fight. Tempered Ganon, that kind of sounds like some sort of bacon seasoning. Also, Spooty is just dodging Trinex incredibly well. And there, down goes Trinex. Final crystal, rewarded with the map. And now, the final journey begins. Ganon's Tower. One small key, one big key, one massive climb, a gauntlet, at least 2 mini-bosses, and hopefully no blue balls. Because this is streamed on the ALTTPR Randomizer, there is no chat game, but that has never stopped chat from making guesses in the first place. There is no real bizarre location where this big key can be because they did find the boots. I mean, there is tile room. To be fair, there is tile room, but you know, why would it be in tile room when it can be in 21 other locations, you know? Spooty, of course, starts off with right side, and just now someone is entering Turtle Rock. Spooty's gonna commit to right side. So this turtle rock was just emotions all over the place. First you find the boots, then you find the mirror, and you backtrack and you find the ice rod. Unbelievable. What a finish. Piece of heart on 20 rupees, and a big heart, and a bomb capacity upgrade. Spoot is taking out the mirror after picking the small key. Oh, and Bob dies. That makes me very happy. More small keys, still waiting for that big key. Also still map and compass readily available. Obviously you don't want that because it doesn't do anything. Finding these hearts is still very nice. You're still sitting on red mail, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong when you're doing silverless scanner. Oh look, final medallion. Quake has been found. Another 20 rupee. Did also just notice as Spooty finds 100 rupees that someone is down to 2 arrows. You will have to pick up some along the way. And Spooty opting to use the red boomerang strat. And not quite the angle. Yeah, just using the cane, going safe. And still use a cane dash to save a little bit of time to get the small key. That's the final sword. No silver, but still quite nice. Will speed up the Ganon fight a bit. And with half magic, lamp, and fire rod, I believe Spooty picked up a blue potion. He did release the fairy, but should have a red potion in the back. And there's the outer cane. Oh, there's the big key in the random room, so we'll be skipping Ice Armos. Time here for the gauntlet for Spooty, no silvers, but does have 29 arrows, down on 5 hearts, but does have the 2 backup bottles, potions. And it's time for someone's reaction here to the ice rod. As Spooty is executing this gauntlet extremely well, as you would expect at this level of play, it's time to watch someone here. No emotion, just go. The random room got its name because it's really only visited in Randomizer. And if you're like me and played this game 20 years ago when you were a kid, you didn't even know that room existed. That's why it's called the random room. Or the randomizer room, but we abbreviate things because it's convenient. Spooty is opting to use the fire rod. Has half magic, no worries. Enemies lining up very well for him. Going back, picking up a heart. I almost think that laser kind of helped him a little, maybe. Will Spooty stop? No. It's going straight in for Landmolas. Will not be mocking around a little bit with the spawn rate. The Landmola's spawn sequence actually do start already in the room to the right. So if you stop and pick up the fairy from that anti-fairy, Spooty, you're playing a very dangerous game here. But if you do stop and do that, it will actually make them spawn a little bit different. The first two will essentially spawn at the exact same time. If you continue to wait, you can make all three spawn simultaneously. Spooty does have 2 potions. He did release the fairy as red mail, so he should be able to take a hit from anything at this point. Get a 1 heart. Full magic will use the lamp. This will allow him to skip the full magic pickup in the upcoming room. Someone has managed to pick up some arrows. Okay, he still grabbed the magic. Understand grabbing the heart, the magic not so much, as someone is handling Trinex without any problem at all. Spooty not even checking these final chests here to try and find silvers. He is committed to this silverless cannon. We'll get these final fairies here and we'll get 50 rupees. And a visit with an old friend. Please be my friend. Good friend. Someone is now, after doing a hook dash, heading over into Ganon's tower, but he is... Of course! Of course! Oh, the seed is... Oh, no. Why? What is the seed? Okay, well, disregard silverless Ganon. This is going to be a cakewalk. When you skip chess just 3 rooms before, committed to doing the silverless Ganon, and then you open the last chest. This seed has been a wild ride. And that was a good double there at the end for Spooty to get the kill onto Aga 2. And now it's time for Ganon. I think Ganon needs to rethink some of his item locations. Some of them are pretty good, but that silver leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, the light is in the fridge so you can see what's inside of it, you know? Some people have poor eyesight, like blind. We have to accommodate the floating ghosts. Just ask someone sprite. I mean, I was looking forward to doing some commentary here on the silverless Ganon, but now I just get to sit back and relax for a while. Yeah, he did find the arrows. Well, what a way to finish the seed, as SpootyBiscuit will take home this match. With a 4th and final hit with the recently acquired silver arrows, SpootyBiscuit will take home the first match in this best of 3. Good game, well played. And he will finish with an official speed racing TV time of 1 hour 45 minutes 27 seconds. we'll see if we can get Spooty in here for an interview soon. Meanwhile, we'll get to watch someone pick up the final sword. Well, as it was a wild ride. Early game didn't really give all that much. And then Catfish, Spy Cave. What a finish. Someone did happen to be a bit low on arrows early on Turtle Rock, but managed to pick up all the ones he need. And we are now joined with the winner of this match, SpootyBiscuit. Good game, well played.
Yeah, good game. As much as the seed tried to ruin that.
I do have to ask, how did you feel when you got that mirror in Turtle Rock?
You know, this is the kind of trolling I can appreciate a lot more, when it's just like, oh, look, I'm gonna be a, you know, the seed's like, I'm gonna be a giant jerk. Oh, just kidding, I'm actually just, you know, gonna let you off easy. Like, I'm pretty sure I was holding my breath, like, just with the angriest look on my face from the moment I picked up the mirror till I picked up the ice rod. Because I'm just like, oh my god, I've never checked pedestal. Like, it could be on pedestal, you know, it could be over in, you know, any of the mirror locations. It could be on left side swamp, like, and then it's just right there. The next check I do immediately after.
This was definitely a seed that took you all over the place. The Ice Rod Cave bottle into Hammer from Sick Kid, the powder from Catfish into Titansmiths, and the Spike Rod Cave, yeah, Spike Rod Cave. Spy Cave having the Fire Rod. How did it feel route this seed?
Well, it thankfully played pretty well into like my strategy for this match. I kind of felt like I just wanted to for this matchup probably just do what I could to avoid doing any double dipping or revisits or backtracking. So yeah, clearing out the overworld and just kind of following the breadcrumbs, and it worked out pretty nicely for the most part.
It did look like you heavily prioritized clearing crystal dungeons. You left Death Mountain after finding the boat. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, I in retrospect, I probably shouldn't have left immediately, but it's just kind of, you know, a little bit of easily distracted, I guess. Like, just, oh look, I found something that lets me do two crystal dungeons. Let's go there. And then I'm like, now wait a minute, like, now I don't know what Turtle Rock wants as its medallion. Like, if I find Ice Rod down here, then I don't know if I'm in go mode. I should have stuck up there and at least, you know, seen if I could get into Turtle Rock. But yeah, as it turned out, it didn't matter too much.
It also did look like towards the end that you looked committed to doing the Silverless Ganon. You skipped the 2 chests in the Beetle Room, I believe it's called, but then open the final chest and you get silvers from that.
Yeah, I figured, you know, with all the mirror locations, it likely wasn't, you know, going to be the case that I got silvers. So just like, you know, opening the 2 chests that are like right in my path on the way, but not walking out of the way in the Helmasaur room to grab those 2. You know, I'm with Buttersword. I don't really mind doing silverless, so you know, wasn't gonna exhaustively search for the silvers. You know, it was fine either way.
You often play the seed with quite low hearts, sitting on 1.5 heart in Gannis Tower, also very low, moving around Laser Bridge, Turtle Rock, but you never really took any safety even though you had it. Was this just a way to try and save as much time as possible and play risky on purpose?
Yeah, like I know I had the blue potion, but I was, I was holding on to it until like the situation got like really dire. I was pretty confident I could finish off Turtle Rock without going down, and same for Gan's Tower. Although, yeah, that Landmo's 2 fight was a little suboptimal. Just kind of got blocked on a lot of my slashes and stuff, and made tons of damage there. But rest of the climb went smoothly. So.
Well, regardless, congratulations on your first win in this best of 3. How do you feel going forward?
Feeling pretty good. Yeah, this one went pretty smoothly. Winning this one by a pretty fair margin, so I'm feeling pretty good about the next round. We're doing our second game tomorrow, same time. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident about it.
That is always great to hear.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be doing so well. Like, honestly, like, I kind of was a little bit rusty as the tournament started, and almost didn't expect to get into the tournament because there was just such an influx of signups, like just right as soon as they were announced. Like first I heard about the signups, and they're like, oh, within a day they're like, oh, we hit the 256 entrant cap. You're just gonna have to wait. And then they're like, okay, we got a premium challenge account. Now it's a 512 sign up. And then by the time I hear that 512 was already reached, it's like, I guess I'm going on another waiting list. And yeah, thankfully got in. So yeah, the fact that I'm in top 64 and in a good position to get up into top 32 is pretty amazing to me.
You play great thus far this tournament. You went 6-1 in the Swiss bracket, just as your opponent someone did, who will finish this seed with an official speed racing time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, 2 seconds. And I think we can also get him in here for this interview. And now we're also joined here by someone. Good game, well played.
GG's.
I do have to ask you as well about that mirror into Ice Rod situation there at the end.
Yeah. Those items had to be somewhere. Of course, they were in Turtle Rock. That's really like best case scenario, since you could like find mirror in Turtle Rock, and then you go to like Swamp Palace to find boots, and then go to like Bonk Rocks to find the Ice Rod.
Well, do you have any regular comments about the way you routed the seed?
Yeah, the seed sucks.
Well, that's... I'm not sure I fully disagree with that.
Yeah, I didn't route as well as I would like, since I had to dip Eastern and Pod and find like bow-locked flippers, which don't lead to anything.
Yeah, I was tempted to sequence break into ice early before finding those flippers, but yeah, then I ended up having nothing. That was a little bit of a disappointment.
Yeah.
Well, I do believe a seed like this is best finished in a quick and efficient manner. So, starting with you, Spooty, do you have any closing statements to make? Any shout-outs?
Not really. Shout-outs to all the organizers, the trackers and the commentator. Yeah, solo commentary is tough. It's a lot to keep track of. So, thanks for doing so.
It's been my pleasure. And from you, someone?
Yeah, mostly the same thing.
Well, that is always great to hear.
For months now, I've been having these.
So I do believe that we currently have 2 matches currently going over on Speed Gaming 3 between Gem and Chex Human, and on ALTTP Randomizer 2 between Justin C. and Aller Set. And obviously, more A Link to the Past Randomizer as this tournament continues, so be sure to follow all of our Twitch channels at Speed Gaming 1-6 and ALTTP Randomizer 1-5. We have started to use ALTTP Randomizer 5 now as well. A big shout out to both our players here today, Someone and SpootyBiscuit. And of course to our lovely tracker working behind the scenes, Raspberry Floof, and also Synac for helping set this up. And I've been Marjevich, and we all hope to see you all in the not too distant future.